The views and opinions expressed on From the Mouths of Madness are that of the panel and not of the Geeks Under the Influence Network or their sponsors. Listeners, beware.
Mama always wanted me to watch Psycho with her.
Mama always said life was like a horror movie.
Yeah. Mom always said it's like a knife going in your back. You never know where it's going to land.
Oh, I don't know. I think Forrest Gump as a horror movie, I think would play out the same as Forrest Gump.
Yeah,
I feel like it would just play out the same. Like it's not going to be.
Next thing you know, that girl's intestines were on the outside of her.
Fucking stupid.
I know. It's amazingly stupid.
Oh, that's gonna, dude. Can someone please parody that? Fucking A. Oh man.
You know what happened to that TV? Well, right on Stu's head. This kid had to have it all night.
Oh, I didn't mean to interrupt your stabbing party.
Yeah. Sorry about y'all stabbing party.
All right. God damn it. Oh, fuck.
Or you can just see him answering the phone. Like it's supposed to be like he comes in and like it's supposed to go to like, you know, whatever chick, but he like, hello? He's like, what's your favorite scare? I'm like, I don't know. That's a important question. And like they're like, can you hand the phone off to the girl next? He's like, well, hold on a second. Who are you? Who am I trying to talk to? Like, I just had this long conversation. Like, get the fuck off the phone, dude.
Now you just introduced a whole other aspect because like you can bring in some other characters of Forrest Gump and it'd be like, well, hold on now, Forrest. We gotta talk about what type of horror are we talking about? We got 80s horror. We got 70s horror.
You got slashers. You got
You've got Giallo.
Giallo. God damn it.
Bubba Gump Studios.
Yep.
Dude. Oh man, I think again, we always just spinning gold.
God damn it.
Maybe we need to like, I don't know, like if people are okay with being like having creatives come and say, here's an idea, and if they love the idea, being the people that can do the thing.
We might have missed the mark though on Forrest Gump.
Did we though?
It's like almost, it's like a 30-year-old movie now.
But we're talking about indie horror. Do things ever die within indie horror as far as
true.
Easter eggs and callbacks? I don't think so. Like honestly,
I think you just confuse 90s into it and then insert Forrest Gump into it.
Ooh,
yeah.
But for it to be an old movie now, it would have to take place in the late 80s to early 90s.
Yeah,
right. So
there you go.
Oh man, that would look totally different. Wow, yeah.
Or just a la like Silent Night, Deadly Night, Forrest just loses his fucking mind, and after, you know, Jenny dies, he's like, everybody's a whore now.
See, I feel like that's too easy for the Forrest Gump thing, but I do like when they did that mock version with Home Alone. That one made sense.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that
when
made
Macaulay
sense.
Culkin came back and he was like fucking tweaked. He was tying people up with Christmas lights and shit, had them in the basement by the furnace that he hated. Yeah. Oh, man. Ho, ho, ho. Holidays are over. We still love our good Christmas horror movies we want and ones we don't want.
And then we discover that we don't need to watch ever again. Yeah.
Yes. But since Christmas is over, there's a movie we missed this year that honestly, we'll go into, you know, where we rate it with our final episode of the year. But man, this one was, I'm not even gonna hide. We're just how I feel about this film. I can't hide how I feel about it. No. I can't. It was one of the most surprising because like it's been the best like body horror movie we've gotten in I don't even fucking know how long.
It's been a while,
right?
Yeah,
like I feel like over a decade.
I honestly think it almost out Cronenberg's Cronenberg.
No. I mean, dude, The Fly, that's pretty grody.
It is pretty grody.
That's pretty grody.
Yeah.
Right. I mean.
But I'm just saying, like.
No, but dude, no, hold on. There's a stomach vagina in Videodrome. Can we just?
Okay, but Cronenberg
extends.
Cronenberg in the last 20 years.
Oh yeah, well he's
moved on.
He had the Crimes of the Future or whatever, where that was definitely a lot of body horror, but it was slightly different. Yeah, in the 2000s, he did his thing where he went more mainstream.
Yeah,
which I was fine with because both History of Violence, Eastern Promises are awesome.
Yeah,
those movies kick ass, but in just enough violence to hey, this is still a Cronenberg film. Right, and that's where it really shined for the gore factor. And then he kind of went back and, and then he actually veered completely away from violence with a couple movies. I feel like Spiders didn't have a lot of violence.
Oh yeah,
and I feel
shit.
like Cosmopolis didn't have a lot of violence.
Okay.
But the brunt of his career, he's the Baron of Blood,
Yeah.
right? Like, I mean, we're talking about 30 years. Now we're going into 30 years on the back end of his career, but he's also released a lot less movies.
Plus, this movie, you didn't know you were going in.
No.
And that's the thing that's different, is that by like the third Cronenberg movie, you're like, all right, we're going to see some fucked up shit.
Yes.
This movie you go into and you went, Cronenberg's not the director. What the fuck is going on here?
What the fuck is happening? Straight up, because they were really smart with the trailer. They didn't give but so much away consistently.
Yeah.
Like, they never redid the trailer where, like so many fucking movies do, where they just add more footage. I'm
They've
like,
actually been really good with the trailers this year, where there's only a couple. And I would say, like, Speak No Evil, they kind of had to sell you, like, McAvoy's not, he's kind of fucked up.
yeah, but
Like,
they still hit some really good shit.
Yeah, but he still has some shit. But I'm
Yeah.
just saying, Strange Darling, the trailer is very open-ended.
Yeah.
This one trailer is very open-ended.
Late Night with the Devil.
Yeah, like,
you
there's
know,
just a lot
that
of
was-
trailers that, like,
Well, obviously, Long Legs.
we kind of had our issues with Cuckoo's trailer because there's a really cool shot when she's on the bike that they had in the trailer that you're like, dude, you don't have to have that shit.
Yeah.
But still, you still had no idea where that movie was going to go from the trailer.
No.
Yeah.
And this movie, you had you had a concept, and you thought it was going to be more. I felt it was going to be more on the sci-fi realm, personally.
Yeah.
Just given by the trailer, less. Body horror easily falls in the realm of science fiction, but I thought it was going to be like a straight sci-fi-ish horror, not like.
I thought it was going to be more almost leaning towards horror comedy, just from what I'd seen of Dennis Quaid's performance. I was like, is it going to be more kind of weird, like silly in some parts? No, it's just Dennis Quaid going
straight.
110%.
Yep.
Here's your line of coke. Do it and action.
No shit.
Yeah.
Like fresh off a bump, dude. He was every take fresh off a bump.
Woo, feathers. Like, Jesus Christ, man.
So, all right, before we keep digging into this film, because I could literally I felt like we were just going to skip it, the intro. But tonight on the chopping block, we're going to finish out the year, because we couldn't miss this fucking episode on 2024's The Substance.
Fucking yeah.
Up for 5 Golden Globe nominations, I think.
Yeah. Well,
5?
I'm curious Oscar time.
Dude, they've got to start acknowledging fucking horror, dude.
I'll just say a few years ago, I saw Everything Everywhere All at Once, and I was like, this movie's awesome, but it's too weird for the Oscars.
Okay, that was weird. That wasn't horror.
I know, but this is kind of hitting the same vein where pretty much everybody that's seen it, audience and critics, giving it the thumbs up.
Yeah, okay.
And that's where you have that weird mixture where it almost goes over top of the horror element.
They
need to look at Get Out.
Yeah. But I mean, they need to. We shouldn't be having this conversation going into the Oscars of 2025, where like horror is not like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I still don't understand that. There's been so much good, like high quality horror, and I'm not talking about elevated and that whole genre. I'm talking about just in general. There's been so much high quality horror. Like everybody, like the people in the genre, the creatives have upped their game. Like I feel like they deserve to be brought up for Oscars.
I wouldn't be shocked if at least you get an acting and a screenwriting one.
I think special effects should go in there too.
Oh fuck!
Like,
yeah.
fuck, come on,
yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Like,
but I think those of the like big categories, I think you're gonna have at least 2 of those.
okay. Yeah, as long as it's something.
Yeah.
Like honestly, like as long as there's something, because fuck, man, Demi Moore came back with a vengeance for this shit. I think
She read that script and went, I'm good to go.
I can do.
And like,
I can do this. I'm good.
All right. And how much prosthetics are you gonna put on me at certain points of the movie? Go for it. Let's do it.
I didn't even read how they managed to do the final suit, because I don't know if they filmed the different angles with the different actors, because that doesn't look like a prosthetic when you see her face and like her back, or
Yeah.
like was it on her back or above her titty? I can't fucking remember.
It's on her back.
It's on her back.
Yeah.
But when you turn around the front, you see another face covered, with
No.
shit.
The titties are getting spewed out.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh god. Oh, it's like Body Melt. Remember that gross ass lady?
Yep.
It was the early 80s, early 90s. It's disgusting. But I wonder if like with that scene when like you get the full shot of like Demi Moore's face out of the back, if that was actually Demi Moore in a suit, and then the front is
I think they definitely had.
I don't think they could do one whole suit.
But they probably put her face through and had close-ups, because I don't know if you see like a far away one, and they worked on that because the part of the dress goes over her face, so they can just do a molding and put that over it, and then close up, a la her. Hey, put your face through this skin cast, and we'll do it from there.
And I believe this was only our second pair of nasty titties
This year. Yeah.
So we're like one down from, I think, the year of the saggy titties.
Yeah. The scary titties. Yeah.
Scary titties.
Oh, God
yeah.
damn.
But we're 2/3 of the way there.
Yeah.
You all right?
And this is a whole mismatch of just, I mean, if you were like, I need a better titty, like, well, here's one flopping to the ground. God damn.
She rolled up in there with a mutant titty hanging out.
This movie, I will say, is an experience. And like, you watch it and like, you're like, I don't remember taking acid, but it's like a come down from after watching it because it's just so intense.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fucking ride, dude. Like, you can't, this is not a late night viewing. Like, when I went and saw it in theaters, it was in I want to say it was like a 4 or 5 o'clock showing. But like, I don't know how that would have affected me going into like a 9 o'clock showing because like coming home from that and trying to go straight to sleep.
Yeah.
There's no fucking way. There's no fucking way.
Watching with the audience is kind of fucking amazing.
Dude, right? Yeah, it was me, you, and Scotty.
Well,
right?
No, I watched it separate twice from you.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But both times I watched it with at least 30 plus people in the theater.
Mm-hmm.
And both times you get to the end, you get to that end sequence and people are like, what the fuck is going on?
It was me, Scotty, and Groots.
That's right.
We went to see it. And so I got audience reaction as well as, friends' reactions. And they were just like, oh, and Matt, I think it was Matt Balea too showed up.
Yeah, because I saw it the second time with Emily and and she was like, holy, yeah. Everybody's just
dude,
like, what the fuck?
It's so fun.
Yeah.
It's just, it's like kind of when you go to see Terrifier 3 and you've already seen it. And this is their first time. You're like,
wait for it.
You're ready.
Yeah.
But like same vibes though. Like if you going in to watch it, having no one is coming, the crowd's going to lose their shit.
Yeah.
Right. And that's awesome. This movie does really good at that.
Turns though that like you weren't kind of expecting. Like when she starts falling apart,
and
you're like, what does she do now? And she's like, I'll just do the process again. And you're like, didn't they say over and over again that's a one-time use?
Yeah, they did.
And we learned why it's a one-time use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't necessarily. It's weird when that happened in the film. I was just kind of like, that makes sense because it gets to a point where it's almost it's obsession / addiction, and that's the same old story. Not that it's not good content. I just mean like when she starts falling apart because she got greedy, which I knew was going to happen. Like, there are beats of the story where you're like, that, yes, of course. But, like, how they do it is what makes it stand out. How they show it.
Well, I mean, she also, like, the whole way to sustain herself, she killed that thing that could sustain it. So, yeah, the body's just start breaking down because you're not injecting yourself with the fluid anymore. Cause, you just literally killed what was your, like, food.
Oh, God. Oh, dude, you know what really fucked me up with this movie? The end scene is just gory fun at this point. It's just gross. You're like, ew,
Yeah.
No, the fucking way the wound on the spine started to look.
Oh,
dude,
yeah.
Like, I felt like I could smell it through the screen.
That's some Requiem for a Dream shit.
Yes.
Remember where he's just like,
thank you.
I'm going to start using the same, it's a little
black.
A little black. Oh, it's
You've got rot over your vein.
And you see in the same thing, in that movie and this movie, he goes, well, how bad could it really be? And you see the needle close up. Both movies go into
disgusting.
That wound, and you're
so
like, what the
gross.
fuck is wrong with you? And it's almost like an addiction both times.
Yes.
Because she's like, it's not me, so fuck it, I need this. And like she pulls it out, and like, it's clear liquid at first.
And it's black.
But then at the end it's black. You're like, that's not what's supposed to go in.
That's not spinal fluid. Spinal fluid doesn't look like that. They always had to do a fucking close up, and they had to give you this sound. Like the music would die, and you just hear the.
Oh, this director, both movies, because she did a movie called Revenge where she used close ups, and this one, same deal. Like stuff, just awkward, gross close ups. And I mean, one of them isn't even in like a body horror thing. It's literally just Dennis Quaid shoving food in his mouth. And a close up of just him eating and the fucking sauce all over his fucking mouth. It's so. And he's like, and you're like, please pull the camera away. That's fucking gross.
Oh.
And in a horror movie, like that's not something I usually list.
Is
like
someone eating?
The food eating scene is fucking
totally
gross.
Because I actually. So I went to an early showing of this. Man, no, I think that's the time I saw it with Groots and Scotty. I'm getting all screwed up.
Right.
I did see it twice.
Okay.
In the theater, actually. No, I think Groots and I went to an early showing in Short Pump. That's what it was, and Scotty. That's where I saw it the first time. All right, I'm sorry. It's been a busy couple months, folks. And I remember because they for the early showings, they don't have the 30-minute bullshit time that Regal feels is necessary before the movies.
Right.
So I was still, when I go to a theater now, I usually factor that in. So if I get to the theater at start time, I know I'll be in the theater before the movie starts.
Yeah.
And didn't work this way. So I missed the first roughly 10 minutes. I'd say just 10 minutes. So I was able to rewatch that and see that. So I didn't, like, that was, I've only seen the scene of where they first show you the hallway, which is The Shining, filled with her pictures. So there's some key stuff in the story that I didn't see, because the next time you see the hallway, her pictures are gone.
They're all gone, yeah.
I didn't realize that. And then,
And he walks
you see the bathroom.
all the way down the hallway with the box. He's like, oh, there's a present for you.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
he is, Dennis Quaid knocks out of the park in this. Again, he's so over the top. And
All
he's
the time.
so shitty,
Mhm.
but he never is like angry shitty. He's like intense shitty, where he's
Mhm.
just like, oh, look at you. Oh, you know, like how you are now.
Yeah.
Like you can. I don't even have time to say you're old and not as attractive, so that's where we're booting you off. But like you fill in the blanks.
Yeah, he
Like,
literally
what
just
an-
stuffing
what a
his fucking
piece of
face.
shit, like-
he's like,
Yeah,
and he's like, oh, hey, dude, I just could get me out of the situation, and he just fucks off.
it's amazing.
But so getting to see that scene,
Yeah,
and getting to see, like I said, the hallway, immediately Shining. Same thing with when the hallway's full of blood. You're like, okay, and then the bathroom.
but did you
know.
did you get this? Were you there for the car accident scene? Because that's something that like you just it hits you out of nowhere. She's
No,
looking at the
that's what I'm saying.
billboard
Like when
as they're tearing it
when
down.
I showed up, it was they were on the scene where she was in her place and she was just getting ready to insert the drive
Okay.
to
Yeah.
so I didn't know that she was selected either. So I figured that out.
Oh,
I thought it was I didn't know she was selected.
Man,
Yeah.
that scene when after the car accident, and the doctor's like, "You are so lucky, like you didn't sustain any injuries," and he's like, "Oh, it's your birthday," and she just starts crying,
Mm-hmm.
and like,
He knows, like, oh,
and the
okay,
doctor's
she's
like, "Well, all right, well,
Mhm.
good luck with all that," and walks out, and that's when the male nurse or whatever that dude who has a weird look to him anyway, like almost plastic look, like he's a
Mhm.
fucking Ken doll, but he's like measuring her back. He's like, "Huh,
you're a perfect candidate. I mean,
for a candidate."
yeah,
it's
you're good.
Yeah.
Well, so that made even more sense to the scene when she goes for the re-up and she goes in the diner, because they make sure to show the
birthmark.
birthmark on his
Yeah.
arm. That was the dude.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh,
And
now that makes sense.
and now you see the other side of it, because
Mhm.
throughout this movie, Sue is just like,
living it up.
my
man.
life is awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to deal with my quote unquote mom.
Yeah.
And in the diner scene, the old dude's just like, before you know it, they'll take everything from you.
Mhm.
You will take everything from you.
Yep.
Like she's
Well,
like,
that's
what
dude.
the fuck is wrong? And it all comes true.
Dude, that's one of the best conversations. There's conversations about. I feel like women in industry, modeling and all that, and how he's like Dennis Quaid's character literally says how disposable they are. Right? He's like, you reach a limit, and that's it. You're done. Right? And like, not that all those years of making them money. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, oh, you're not attractive anymore, apparently.
Yeah.
Per data.
Like, oh, well.
Demi Moore's fine
even
as
the
fuck in
doctor's
this movie,
like,
by the
my
way.
wife's a big fan of you. And it's like, oh, my mom's a big fan of you. Like, it establishes you're
Well, he said
famous from back in the day.
He said wife
Yeah.
as current. So I'm like, to me, what I got from that line is clearly she is still a amazingly attractive woman, which Demi Moore is, by the way. But the deeper part of the conversation is that was apparently, according to the network, her only value
Yeah.
was her beauty.
Well, it was
Not like what she brought to the show.
But the doctor was like, I'm a huge fan.
No.
He says, my wife's a huge fan. And that kind of almost kind of says like, like,
Oh yeah, I'm not.
like
I don't like looking at you shaking
like
your butt.
you're on The View all the time. My wife loves The View.
Yeah.
That kind of shit where it's not like I'm a huge fan.
Damn.
I'm sorry, dude, but come on.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
But I think there's a deeper conversation about how, like, there are multiple industries that still, grade and see and add, and the value of said woman is based on exterior. So that's 2024, but that's still going on. And I feel like that's part of the story. I don't know. I'm not a woman, but I would say that's what I get from it.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big deal. And then also about like what you will do to yourself to get what you think you need.
And just again, how it's almost like a drug where
Yeah,
when she becomes Sue, and they remind you in all the rules, they go, "There's only one. You are. That is you."
Yeah,
And-
you are one.
Yeah.
Like,
But the younger version, the more attractive version, you get intoxicated by that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Well, she hasn't been treated like that in how long? Probably
so long.
You
yeah.
know, like I mean,
but they're like,
'cause you saw the way-
follow the fucking rules.
you saw the difference in the way the dude treated her as Sue, where he couldn't wait to get in her pants, and then
or the fucking neighbor.
or the neighbor.
Yeah.
But then Elizabeth bumps into the dude, and he loses his shit.
He's like, get the fuck out of my
You
way.
hag or
Yeah.
some shit. Like I'm like, bro,
Well, the neighbor
calm down.
pounds on the door, and
Yeah.
he's like, God damn, Elizabeth, you're
All that fucking noise, and then like, oh, hey, Sue.
Hey, you know, I could help out some, like, yeah. It instantly changes. But
So
what's amazing is there's a set of rules that you have to fucking follow. And our minds are going, well, what happens if you don't? And we learn pretty early on because she has a night partying. She's about to fuck this dude. It's
she waited to
last day of where you're supposed to do the change. And she's like, I'm just going to do it this once.
and she only took like a day
Yeah.
just to make it through the night.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, you do it once, that's it. You do it once, that's it.
And they switch, and fucking Debbie Moore wakes up, and she's like that. And then she goes to touch something, and she sees her finger, and it looks like
Was
fucking,
the finger the first one or the toe?
No, it was the finger.
The finger, okay.
The finger, because she goes to do something, and she looks, and her finger, normal hand, but one finger looks like a fucking like
Witch.
witch.
It was like, it reminded me of the witch from Snow White.
Yeah.
Like when she, you know, she
it's like the beginning process of transformation from in the Evil Dead.
yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
literally that finger, and she's like, "What the fuck?" And she realizes that's one day. So later on, when we get to her, she's like, "You know what? Fuck this. I'm doing a whole week. I need a whole week."
Yeah.
And you're like, "What's?" And then you hear the scream, and then the reveal, and like she just looks already just completely.
Yeah, like
different.
that was her hair. That was like from the knee down. Like remember what she, that was a bone thing. Remember how she had to free up her knee?
Yeah, where she's sitting in the chair and she's trying to get up, and she's got to like fucking fuck with her.
I thought she was gonna break it. God damn it.
I was waiting for it, and this movie wouldn't have shocked me if that's what happened.
Oh, that was so bad, dude. It was so bad. But then, like, now you see Elizabeth, what she's doing in response is like not taking care of herself.
Herself or the surroundings.
Yeah, she gives zero fucks. So whenever Sue comes back, she's got to basically clean up the entire apartment.
Oh,
Like,
and now she's starting to hate Sue. Like when she's on the
and
talk
Sue's
show.
starting to hate Elizabeth.
Yeah.
So it's like she's starting to hate herself.
Because you can see that interview where she's like, now you replaced, Elizabeth. Like, how do you feel about that? She's like, well, I mean, she's kind of old school. Like, and she's talking shit about herself.
So herself hears it, and it's like, how do you have that fight? Like, how do you fight yourself like that?
And they were watching it, being like, ugh, like talking shit, and it's like
That's
their
you.
mother-daughter.
That's you, though.
Even though you are the same person.
Yeah, you are one.
You
So
are one.
That was a really cool concept of like when it's externalized, you can begrudge it as much as another person.
And again,
right?
old motherfucker in the diner was like that's what happens.
Yeah.
Before you know it,
Yeah.
like it's like a separate personality.
Yep.
Yeah.
And beside back to the guy in the diner, his younger self or a better version of himself, that's the nurse. He's also the voice on the drive.
Yeah.
And the voice when she calls.
Even though when she goes in to pick up the kit,
Oh, that's some sketchy shit, dude. She has to crawl under this roll-up door.
But when she goes under there and there's lockers, and there's only 2 lockers, so it's obviously her and dude. Man,
is it only 2?
I only saw 2 with numbers on them.
Oh, with numbers. So there's only 2. There's only 2 patients.
Yeah.
So
far.
there's room for multiple. And there's some very jarring scenes. Like that scene has a huge transition of when she goes under the roll-up door. It's like dark and like crack denish, and then like it's just clean fucking white room with it's
but
like
also
a very
shows how
huge dynamic
desperate
shift.
she is. It's like the door doesn't even go all the way up at that point. And it's a sketch ass area of town, broken down car. You can hear the fucking sirens. Like it's not a safe area.
No.
And she's like, that's how desperate she is. And she's like, all right, I'll crawl under and go through this fucking sketch ass hallway, and eventually it's safe. But that's how like I'm gonna do whatever I can.
Yeah, 100%. And it's got some really good camera choices. There's some cool one shot 360 like 180. Like when she like in the beginning when she sees the women's bathroom's out of order, it just does one shot pan over to the men's room versus like doing there was really cool camera choices. Or like the long hallway scene, the way it shows the length. Clearly the hallway is not that long, but it's probably like fishbowl style or something, and it just looks never ending, and it's creepy as fuck. Like there's really cool choices they made.
It's amazingly shot. Like,
dude, it looks so good.
And then again, she uses close-ups in very uncomfortable situations besides just shoving food in your mouth. When because the birthing process is she comes out of her fucking back.
Yeah.
Opens up and comes out. You got to sew that shit up. And so we watched like a minute of just close up of the fucking
flesh being
needle
pulled together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
being like sewed back up.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God. And like I said, the constant stabbing the spine was so fucking gross. And the sound. Like, so the sound is prevalent throughout the entire movie of just gross shit. Like even the close-up with the chewing in between his words of the close-up of him eating made my skin crawl.
But when you get to where she's like, you know what? Fuck this older version of me. She's fucking up the place. She's holding me back.
Mhm.
I have a chance to be a star. They've announced that she's going to be hosting
New Year's Eve.
The New Year's Eve. Like, but on a side note, what kind of televised thing has chicks with tits out? But we'll get past that. Like,
yeah, we'll just leave that alone.
But she's like, I got to prepare. I can't have this bitch in my way. She's like,
well, she would have had to go, like it happened on Elizabeth 7.
Yeah.
When New Year's Eve was happening, so she wasn't going to give that up.
But we're talking about she decides, fuck this, and then it says months later.
Oh, yeah, for the prep. Yeah, because, yeah.
And you're like, oh, shit. Because we saw what happened with one day, and we saw what happened with 1 week. So when you get to months later, and she has to change, because like eventually it's, again, black shit coming out of that spinal fluid.
So it's like
she switches. And you hear that scream, but it doesn't sound like Demi Moore. It sounds like some kind of creature.
Now, I will say, that was the funny part of the movie to me. Her running around with like a trench coat,
or
and
just
like
when
her
she
getting
had
thrown across the room.
When she had to switch, and she was fucking some dude in the other bedroom, which I guess is her boyfriend, and she runs to the bathroom, and he's like, babe, you okay? And then it's fucking crone-looking fucking Demi Moore, and she's like, get the fuck out of here. Like, and he's like, what the fuck is that?
Just happened? And so that's another reference to The Shining too, was they did the from the floor up shot of her when she's holding the door closed. That's directly Jack Torrance in the freezer.
Yeah.
You know, so sorry, we've got to point that out. That's really fun. But like once you get a full shot, the practical effects on the monster effects for the creature, because she's turning into the monster of sorts.
It's at this point unrecognizable. Hunchback. Like, just every part of her body is now...
Because she's been laying there curled up. So her bones just aged.
And that's every day past switching out. And so, she looks... Again, she looks like fucking fucking evil witch. Like, she looks fucked up.
And, like, when they have the fight and she gets flung across the room, it's just this old lady with, like, a hat, a trench coat, like a scarf, sunglasses, and she's just hunched over. Dude, I was laughing. Because that to me, that's the only comedy...
And there's no turnaround, though. They say that it's like what happens is irreversible. So when she wakes up that last time...
And she even called to check out again. She's like, no.
But that's where she's like, you know what? Fuck my younger self.
Yeah.
I'm going to terminate it.
Yeah.
Like, that's what's crazy. And that's where you have the moment where they're both fucking, like, awake. What the fuck? That's where you have... She fucks her up.
Dude,
I don't know if
terrible.
she had some superhuman strength, but she tosses her across the fucking room.
Where'd that come from?
I don't know.
I didn't get that.
I guess just anger.
Pure rage.
Yeah, pure rage. Just built the fuck up.
Yeah. All right, before we finish up, we just got to give a little shout out to the final scene. I know we've kind of talked about it, but it's just a gore fest. There's just puking blood, squirting out of titties, and fucking...
She kills Elizabeth.
Yeah.
She goes, finds out, oh, my shit's falling apart. What's the solution?
So the end is she's a monster and she's falling apart.
I'm just saying, like, she decides to come back to the fucking gal.
Well, she staples the picture of her face on the...
That's where the direction of the movie went, where I'm like, what the fuck is happening here? Because she went back to it. And then, fucking blood splattered over the crowd.
Oh, it's so gross.
Spitting out titties.
Dude, like, remember that? It went into a kid's mouth. Like a little kid's mouth. Dude.
You show the kid covered in fucking blood, and Dennis Quaid's like, ooh, and he's covered in blood, and just nobody knows what the fuck to do.
Yeah. What do you do at that point?
And you have a fucking moment where the dude, nobody says anything, the mask falls off, and the dude in the crowd stands and goes, monster! Like a fucking 1930s fucking...
Frankenstein. No,
it's a monster!
Technically, there's a parallel there because, like, this is what you made me.
Yeah.
Because that studio, the audience, everybody involved with her show and the network turned her into this. I mean, she still had a choice, but she was driven to the choice. I do fully believe she was driven to the choice she made by being discarded the way she was.
Yeah.
You know, and there is like a Frankenstein's monster, I think, correlation there.
I will say I thought it was just her imagining it because you get to
Oh,
her,
no.
there's a hallway. They go, "We love you, Sue," and then she like blinks and it's an empty hallway as she's walking towards. So I was like, "Oh, this," but no, this is really going on, and that just
Oh, and then
blew
another
my
hallway is just full
fucking
of blood.
mind.
Now it's just full of
Oh
blood.
yeah, when she escapes,
Yeah.
she covers that whole
Squirting blood out of
everywhere.
everything. That's gross.
And then you get to where she gets on the sidewalk, starts just melting away.
Yeah, and she melts into her own star.
Yeah, and then it's just her Demi Moore's face crawling to her star, and then just looking at the stars and dissolving away.
Yeah.
And then you have to end it with just, let's clean up all the blood off the star. Because
Yeah.
you started the movie with showing her star and all that
Which
shit.
again, I missed that. So I didn't see the star until the end of the movie.
Yeah.
So like I feel like the first time I saw it, it was kind of cool because some things I pieced together, other things I didn't realize the relevance.
Yeah.
So that, it was interesting when I
But-
saw it a second time.
Holy shit.
Yeah, dude, that ending, you got to see it. I mean, our description, because if we were to describe it, it would be us saying the same thing over and over again. But you really got to just witness it. Like, all in all, yeah, I mean, like I said, we weren't going to hide it, man. This totally survived the chopping block, unlike her. And and I want a physical copy of this movie. It is, it's so good.
It's my biggest surprise of the year.
Yes.
By far.
And the most horror. Like, there's other surprises. Well, it's different because there's been a lot of demon possession stuff. We got Late Night with the Devil. We had Long Legs. Okay, the First Omen. Like, we've got, which are good, but they're all in the same, like, ballpark.
You knew there was going to be a horror element. This one, I went in with, I had no idea the levels it was going to go to till it was there.
Like I said, I thought it was going to be more sci-fi horror adjacent, not body horror adjacent. And then, and you had Strange Darling, which was great, but that's almost more thriller than horror.
You still had
elements. There's some. But dude, this movie, no fucking clue.
No fucking idea.
No.
And the poster doesn't give you shit because it's just the fucking
vial with the green. Yeah.
Doesn't
like,
say anything about what the fuck is going to happen to this goddamn movie.
I wonder if Brian Yuzna's like, you know what I mean? Because that's totally like Reanimator.
Oh, absolutely.
Stuart Gordon, Brian Yuzna.
Yeah.
Is it Yuzna or Yuzna? I always feel like I fucked that up.
I think it's Yesna.
Yuzna.
Yeah.
I just heard Barbara Crampton say it earlier today on a reel too. By the way, I feel like I should remember. But no, if they watch any of those guys watch this film, they gotta be like, oh yes, like,
Yeah.
I mean, look, because From Beyond is a body horror, a sci-fi body horror film. Like when the Dr. Pretorius comes back and he's like just a big fleshy fucking gross thing.
Yeah.
You've seen From Beyond, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Wasn't sure. It's people don't talk about that one as much as they do Reanimator.
I mean, it's
But yeah, I mean. This is a disgusting movie, but it's got so much conversation in there, too.
It's amazingly disgusting. That's the best way I can put it.
Yeah. Again, an amazing story. There's so much conversation between, at least, like I said, all I have is a perception of what women in that environment have to deal with, right? But I feel like the director does a really good job for everybody to kind of know, like,
Yeah.
this is not cool what's happening to her.
I've had a lot of movies I've recommended this year, but this was definitely one that, like, I kind of was like, prioritize as much as you can. And if you can see it with the audience, which I think we're kind of missed that boat at this point, but
Yeah.
But I was like,
Have a watch party at the house. Bring over friends that haven't seen it. At least 10 people or something
seriously,
like that. Yeah, rock that shit.
Have a fucking substance watch party.
Yeah, dude. Like real talk. Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm doing that.
Yeah, and you can make like themed snacks, and they were like, what? Okay, and then they get to see it in the movie. Like, oh, yeah, that'll be awesome.
Yes and yes.
Yes
I'm
and
fucking
yes.
doing that
Yeah.
shit.
And until we talk to you again, embrace the madness.
Join us at GUIPodcast.com.